Okay, I want you to think about the last time that you have created content for social media and you've spent time doing it, you've edited it, you've really thought about it, you took the beautiful picture, you took a really great video, you made it perfect, and you get so excited and you post it only for it to get like 12 likes. Crazy, right? I'm sure that's happened to a lot of us. I know it's happened to me before. Now I want you to think about the last time you've had a friend or a coworker or a customer quietly go to your site and order from you and they never like and never comment. I'm sure that's happened to you too, right? And it's like a really good feeling. You're like, oh, they see it. The thought process behind that and what I want to talk about is this idea that likes and comments don't pay you. Okay, those things actually just don't matter in the big scheme of things, but creating content that does attract does matter. And I want to talk about what that looks like and how I do that for my own personal business. Okay, so here's the thing. Social media does kind of lie to us because there are ways and there are people, a lot of people, who make really good money creating content on social media that runs primarily on views, likes, comments, shares, saves. Like that's how they get paid. And social media will pay you for that, right? Facebook, YouTube, all the things. And it's a really awesome way to make extra income if that's your thing. And it's not that that model that they've created for that kind of business is bad, because it's not. It blesses a lot of people. And it can be a huge achievement. It can be something that totally changes your life. But when we're talking about our Scentsy business, when we take that model, it's incomplete, okay? Because we're not looking for those kinds of things in terms of what pays our bills. Scentsy is not getting our bills paid by getting so many likes or so many shares, right? When somebody follows me on social media, I appreciate it and I love it, but I don't feel connected just because somebody liked something on social media or they decide to follow me, right? I feel connected to somebody based off of what they know about me, right? How much they're paying attention. Like, I want to know, do you know my dog's name? You know, do you know my kids' names? Do you know who my favorite character on Friends is? By the way, it's Chandler. That's what gets me. That's what connects me to my audience. And I've noticed from a customer's perspective, because I too buy things from small businesses and other people. And from a consumer perspective, I feel the same way, right? I feel connected based off of the relationship or what I know about that person. And basically it boils down to if I like, know, and trust them, right? So I want to give you an example. I had a reel go mega viral on Instagram. Okay. It was a reel that I just kind of thought up and posted it, and I didn't really think much of it. And it got over 5 million views. In fact, it got over 120,000 likes. Okay. Like 600 comments. It got tons of reshares and saves and all the things. Right. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, this is it. My husband can retire. Like, we're going to be rolling in it after this, right? Because my thought process was social media pays and all this stuff, and maybe I wasn't in the right program or whatever. But I want you to understand, when I got my invoice for how much I made, it was less than 50 cents. It was like a cool 11 cents. Crazy, right? Now, same thing, I have posted stuff about my own personal specials or something Scentsy related. And I do a box by Brie, which is like our Scentsy whiff box. But I kind of zhuzh it up a little bit. I make it my own. I do my own theme kind of thing. And I have a lot of people that love them. And so I have thrown up a box by Brie post saying who wants in this month, and have gotten no likes, but have gotten like 20 people opting in, right? People texting me, or maybe there's a comment or two, but people opt in. And so I made good money doing that, right? So that goes to show you that being viral or having the most likes or having a bunch of people comment doesn't always equal success, and especially in the Scentsy business. Those two things can work together, but not always, okay? The engagement that pays us actually has nothing to do with the algorithm, right? Because the valuable engagement that we want are things that we get to do for them, for our audience, and also the things that they can do for us. And that valuable engagement is stuff like replying to DMs, right? If somebody messages you, respond. Replying to comments, right? Voice messaging people. So like on your phone, you can, record a voice note, and so that person can hear your voice and like hear your tone. And I think that that changes a lot of things for a lot of people, right? When I voice message a customer and I'm like, thank you so much for your order, oh my gosh, that made my day. I was sitting in the pickup line and that order came through, and I just like did a little happy dance in my car, because truly it means everything. You're supporting my family. Checking in with our customers, checking in with our people, not even just customers, just our people, right? We are all on some form of social media, and we all see what's happening in our friends' lives. How often do you see something and you think about it in that moment, but then a week later you don't think about it anymore? Or maybe you do think about that person, but you just don't reach out, right? What would it look like for you to check in, right? And build on connection in that way. Following up, remembering little details about people, celebrating people's birthdays that way, supporting their business, right? I'm a big proponent of this because I think supporting other people's businesses is a big deal. And it's a bigger deal than we even make it, because we're asking people to support our business, but are we turning around and doing the same thing, right? And of course, that doesn't have to be monetary. That can be sharing, that can be commenting. And, we know that that's not maybe the most valuable thing, but it can do a lot, right? Have you ever gotten a referral from somebody who maybe has never bought from you, but they're sharing your name? That means a lot, right? We can be doing the same for our friends. It's this idea of being interested before being interesting, right? And so it's engaging with the people around us before their eyes are on us and looking at what we do. And it's for the simple idea of connection. And that's what this whole thing kind of falls back on, is connection and building relationship. Every intentional interaction is putting another coin in the relationship bank, right? So every comment where you're super intentional about saying something about this person that you truly mean, right? You've thought about it maybe for a second and you're like, my gosh, I have to tell her, like, I think she's amazing. I think what she just did is amazing. Or her outfit, slay girl, right? You look so good in that dress. Those kinds of things, intentional interaction, especially on social media, really draws that line of connection. It really provides the trust and the knowing between you and whoever you're talking to, and vice versa, right? When people are active with us, and we have those people who respond to every story, every post that we do, they're liking it, they're commenting on it, like that means a lot to us. Are we reciprocating, right? And so I usually, when I talk about social media, I talk about how I do social media, and this is not really going to be much different. But most of the time, I like do this thing where I'm like, I use my social media like a lifestyle thing, and like I'm posting about my life and sprinkling in Scentsy and all this stuff, and that's true. But I want to be more specific about things that I'm posting, right? So things on my social media, if you were to take a look at my Instagram or even my Facebook, you're going to see a lot of date nights. Me and my husband are big on date nights. We make that a priority in our marriage. We're celebrating 17 years. So like we are locked in, and we have 3 kids. And so life is crazy. Life is busy. We are busy people. My husband has a full-time job. He's in law enforcement. I work part-time as a barista. So that's also some of my content. We do have 3 kids, and so I'm a mom, and so that's content. Everything is content when you think about it. And so when you're talking about lifestyle, right, Scentsy is a part of your life, but it's not your whole life. And I just want to share that, like, I used to use my Instagram as my primary Scentsy place. Like that's where I shared Scentsy, and it was like 90% Scentsy and 10% life. And I think for a while it really did work out. Like I was successful in it. I was really enjoying that content, and obviously like I just wanted to share our beautiful products and the beauty of the Scentsy lifestyle, and like that's really great. But then I went through a really difficult season where I had a friendship breakup. And it was in that season where I did not feel like posting Scentsy. And I know that we need to be consistent, and I know that we need to show up even if we don't feel like it. But there are also periods in your life where your heart is telling you it's okay to not be on. And I think that we should listen to that. But it was even a little bit more than that. It was like, I got to a point after a couple of weeks where I'm like, I actually do want to share. It's just I don't want to share Scentsy. I want to share what's going on, because I know I'm not the only one who's gone through a friendship breakup before. I'm not the only one who's grieving the loss of somebody who they thought was going to be their forever friend. And so I decided to do a complete switch up of my Instagram and still include Scentsy in my life and what I was posting, but also start talking about the pain that I was in, the grief that I was dealing with. And then as time went on, it trickled into everything else. And then I was talking about everything else. And that became majority of my content. And then Scentsy, as it is, fits so nicely in that, right? I can have Scentsy content and I can have Scentsy be a part of what I'm talking about and what I'm doing, but it's not the front and center of every single post. Does that make sense? So different things that I'm posting about, all is my life. And Scentsy is a part of my life, and that's such a blessing. And I think that speaks volumes about our business and how we share the opportunity, is because Scentsy is one of those things that just fits so nicely. And we become more relatable, and we provide more content that adds value, and not just like value in terms of like, this is a warmer, it makes your house smell good, but value in terms of, hey, I'm a busy mom. I get it. And this is why I need fragrance. Or I'm a wife and my husband deals with stinky people sometimes. And so this is why we need fragrance, right? Including all of that really adds value to the potential relationships that I am digging into, right? And spending time doing. So how I do that in my favorite way to add value and create valuable content with keeping the lifestyle theme and including Scentsy in it is I like to pair the two, or three, but I like to pair it together. And so a lot of the time I will create, I'm really big into short videos right now. I think that is what the algorithm is pushing for us. If you get on TikTok, that's why TikTok is so popular, is because people are really loving the storytelling aspect, the short videos, all of that. And so I like to pair video content that has to do with Scentsy with the verbal or the written hook being something kind of completely different, right? So I can be cleaning my counters with Counter Clean, and that's what you see in the video, right? And I'm just closing down my kitchen, right? But I'm using my Scentsy products. But the hook that you see in words on that reel or on that short video is going to be talking about how I spent 3 hours in the pickup line today because of such and such. Or it's going to be a quote that I really, really loved. And I get to share that and pair Scentsy together, which is really awesome. So pairing those two things together creates a visual attraction where you are kind of almost playing a trick on your viewers, because they're reading what you're writing and they're taking that in and they're watching the video longer. And then the longer they sit there and watch the video, the more they notice that you're cleaning your counters with Counter Clean, right? And they're going, oh, wait, what's that? Or you're lighting a candle, or you're changing the wax. And all of a sudden they're wondering, what does that smell like? Oh my gosh, yeah, no, I had that same thought cross my mind. Or I do the same thing. I vacuum, whatever. I'm doing those same tasks. I'm sitting in the pickup line, and I'm putting a scent circle in my car, right? So I'm pairing those things together for a visual attraction, but also to just like insert that little nugget to the people watching that, hey, this is how Scentsy fits in. This is how I'm doing my everyday things, but I'm including that in my content. I hope that makes sense. I believe deeply in the power of storytelling. We all have stories to tell. We have an incredible business filled with incredible products and an amazing opportunity, right? So how are we telling those stories about what this business does for us? How are we communicating that, right? Short videos, like I said, even really thought out captions, visual hooks, stuff like that. And this, obviously, we're talking about social media. So my assumption is that you understand that social media works in this way. And like I said, I'm really deep in this short video reel world, but I'm gaining traction in it, and it's working because I think that that's what people are wanting to see is storytelling, short videos, things like that. So examples that you can do, mixed in with your regular content is things that relate right back to your business, like why you love fragrance, why you chose Scentsy, why did you start, why have you stayed, what Scentsy has done for you and your family, what it looks like to work Scentsy behind the scenes, right? How are you working Scentsy? How are you managing a team? How are you putting together orders? How are you collecting orders? Like all of those things are stories that we can tell that give people a peek into what this opportunity provides. And I think that that's really cool. And I think that we should be doing so much of that and flooding the internet with that, because what people don't know, they don't know, right? And the other awesome thing about this business is it doesn't have to be worked the same between everybody. And so the different ways that you can show how you work your business, or, the different aspects of it, the more somebody is informed and the more you may resonate with somebody that you don't even know because you're sharing a certain part of the business that they're like, oh, I had no idea that you only have to work it 30 minutes a day. Everybody has 10, 15, 30 minutes a day, right? So storytelling, how are you telling the story of your life? How are you telling the story of this opportunity? And what are you saying to people in conversation about it as well? This idea of storytelling and showing on social media comes with the idea that you follow through with not just selling somebody something, but inviting somebody into something, right? I'm not trying to sell nobody some big dream of retiring their spouse or retiring themselves or anything like that. What I'm inviting them to is an opportunity to make a little extra money, or an opportunity to fill your life with fragrance, or an opportunity to see what happens, right? For $9, you can see what happens. Like, that's less than a Starbucks trip. And I think it's really powerful to extend that invitation to people one-on-one and say, hey, I think you'd like this. Have you ever gotten a text message like randomly from somebody and they're like, oh my gosh, I saw this and I thought of you? And it's like, that's the best feeling in the world. And I think that we have watered down the power of that even in our business world, right? And so if you think somebody would be really great at this business, or you think somebody would really love this fragrance, or somebody would really love this warmer, I think it's really powerful. And again, intentional interaction puts a coin in the relationship bank to extend that invitation for them to try it, right? Hey, I saw this warmer and I just thought of you. I know that your home looks like this, or I know that you love mid-century modern decor, and I just saw this warmer and I thought it would go perfectly with you. I hope you're doing good. Have a great day, right? I'm not inviting them, I'm not asking for a sale. I'm inviting them to the experience. And I think that the more that we do that, insane, our relationships will be booming and our business will follow. Does that make sense? So I think that most people think that sales, and especially coming from a 2020 world where sales were like this, where you would just post something and it would fly off the shelves, right? We couldn't even keep up. Scentsy couldn't even keep up. It was insane, and it was an amazing time. But we recognize we're not really in that time anymore. And so now the reality of making a sale looks more like you post something and you maybe get a story reply, and then it turns into a private message, and then a conversation, maybe over a couple of days even, right? And then maybe they ask for a recommendation, or you're recommending something based off of what they've said. And then maybe like a week later, they're making that sale, right? They're finally going to your site to purchase. And then with great customer service, right? Following up, asking them how they liked it, you might get a repeat sale, right? And then you've got a loyal customer for a little bit. And then that loyal customer decides, I want to get my Scentsy for free. So they decide to host, right? And then it's some more good customer service. And then boom, you've got a new teamie, right? Because they've seen the power of how easy this fragrance world can be in terms of turning customer into consultant, right? Partnering with Scentsy is just so easy to do because it's so worth it, right? You're still getting that fragrance experience. Now you just get to make money because of it. I love that. But just remembering that the sale happens before the checkout even happens, right? You're asking people to buy into who you are before they ever buy a Scentsy. You want them to invest in you before they make the investment into fragrance for their life. I think that's powerful to remember. So I want you to do something. Okay, maybe you need to write this down. Maybe you just need to make a mental note of it. But for the next 7 days, I challenge you. Yes, you. I challenge you to post the content, post the valuable content, post the intentional content, respond to people, all of that. And I want you to do that without chasing likes, without chasing comments, not being afraid of what you're doing, not second guessing it. I want you to be super intentional. I want you to just post the stuff. And I also want you to, behind the scenes, create intentional interaction that builds relationships. So I want you to have 5 conversations with people outside of social media. Text somebody, tell them, hey, I was thinking of you. Have 5 genuine conversations. Comment on 10 people's posts, maybe a day, right? 7 days, you comment on 10 people's posts, not Scentsy related. Reply to every story reply. Every time somebody replies on your story, does an emoji, anything like that, you're replying. Sending 3 voice messages, right? Record a voice note for people, send it to them, tell them what you're thinking, check in with them, all the good things. Check in with an old customer, right? That's easy. That's easy. Hey, how are you doing? I was just thinking about you. Follow up with someone you haven't talked to in months. Maybe you have a customer or you have somebody who you chatted with 6 months ago. Now it's time to circle back, right? These are the things that grow businesses. These are the things that really root relationships, right? Intentionality, conversations, recommendations, commonalities, all of those things build relationships because it builds trust, right? If you go to my Instagram or even if you go to my Facebook page, you're going to see a variety of things. Some of it has nothing to do with Scentsy. But it's because of this idea that because none of that screams by Scentsy, all of it builds trust to get to that point, right? I'm building relationships for when they do see that I do Scentsy, or they see Scentsy out in the wild and they think, oh wait, my friend on Instagram sells Scentsy. I want that warmer. I'm going to go get it from her, right? And we know we do that. Right? We may see something on social media or see something out in the wild, but we know that we have our friend Becky who sells the same thing. And so now that I'm finally committed to buying it, I'm going to go to Becky because I know, like, and trust her. Right? That's the difference. I want you to, after you're done watching this video, or maybe while you're watching it, depending on where, I want you to go open up your most used social media app, and I want you to look at your last 9 posts. And I want you to categorize them in these 4 ways, right? And just tally them up, put them where they go, and just be mindful of what you're sharing, right? This is that exercise of just knowing and pay attention to, like, what's working. What post got you a sale? What post didn't get you anything? And it's not that that stuff matters, but it's good for the knowledge, for the content that people are consuming, right? So buy this. Are you posting stuff that just says, hey, this warmer is really awesome, it's brand new, it's $55, okay? What are you posting that's valuable, or it's a tip, right? And it can be fragrance related or not fragrance related, doesn't matter. But what of value are you putting out there? Personal life or a story time, right? That has nothing to do with, this, but just like, what are you sharing with your audience that is personal, right? That you tell a friend. And then the last one, a conversation starter, right? So those are things like, if I'm cleaning my counters and I'm like, does anybody else feel like that their kitchen just smells like bacon all the time? That's a conversation starter. That's something that will get people talking. That's really good content to use, right? And then I want you to ask yourself, after you've categorized your social media in those 4 ways, the last 9 posts, just the last 9. You don't have to go through your entire social media. If a stranger landed on your profile today, would they see a catalog of our fragrance? Would they see a catalog of, like, all of the Scentsy stuff? You're just posting pictures or graphics or flyers, and it's just that. Or are they seeing a person that they might want to know? That's what I want to leave you with. And just remember, content starts conversations. Conversations build relationships. And relationships create loyal customers. Love you so much.